Sometimes things are so crazy and it doesn't feel like there's any let up in the world. The thing about making pottery is it always feels like I contributed something good today. I think I lived for so long not feeling like my life matters, to have things that exist because I existed makes me feel really whole, makes me feel like my life meant something. I grew up in Philly. Not only did I grow up in a poor neighborhood, but it was also a very violent place. Grew up doing graffiti. You know, it was really kind of like my biggest outlet as a teenager. I was in my mid-20s, still in Philly, and I saw most of the people around me in and out of prison, working dead-end jobs, and, you know, I just kind of saw myself going in the same direction. I feel like if I died, the world wouldn't even have known that I existed. I decided to move away, and I found myself in Florida. There was a community college. Because I did graffiti, you know, I was immediately inclined to just try taking an art class. So I took a pottery course and, you know, just immediately, everybody had a confidence in me. It seemed like right away, people were encouraging me and saying, man, you're really good at this. And that was my first experience with that, you know, with that sort of encouragement. Pottery was my entry point into existing. Okay, I think that's it for now. Let this set up a little bit. No matter what your artwork looks like, if it feels like miserable, then don't do it, you know? So I really try to fill my practice with things that I really like to do. Like, I'm not type A, I'm very loose. I like improvisational sort of mark making and less structure. The rim is so nice. I feel like I can feel the whole pot from here. One part is taller than another. Then other people might look at it and say, oh, it looks really symmetrical, looks perfect, you know? But then I can see all the imperfections. When I'm making a pot, I see so many of the metaphors for a human. Like the things that maybe seem defective about us or different are actually the things that make us the most distinct. Yeah, I think this one's done. I actually really like this piece. Ceramics is such an archival material. I think about the fact that these pieces last for thousands of years. That's how we know so much about cultures in the past. I started to get really interested in how ceramics and pottery represents cultures throughout history, and I said, you know, it would be great to be able to do that with my culture, my history. In many ways, I'm a very traditional artist. I'm following traditional formats that people use to talk about other cultures, you know, like ancient Greece, Chinese pottery, Sev. And the thing that is jarring is that I'm covering a community that is not in that conversation. My work could be how people know about what was going on today. Some of these people might be forgotten 20 years from now, but they'll still be a relic of that time, you know, painted on a ceramic work. In many ways, that's ensuring that that person's legacy is continuing. Oh, it's a Shiko. Beautiful pieces. When I first started to work in pottery, I really wanted to make sculptures that were round. In this exhibition, I really wanted pottery to be seen in a sculptural context, which inherently means that it's also being seen in a grander visual art context. So the 20-foot tall pot is really important. So I created the original prototype for this piece on a computer using Rava prototyping. I spent some time learning how to do 3D modeling and making pots that way. I chose a form that reminds me of a Sèvres vase. Sèvres being a French porcelain manufacturer whose work was commissioned by a lot of royalty and featured a lot of vignettes and people and portraits in them. So in this particular piece, the vignette where I would normally paint somebody has been cut out. Why not make it where people can walk into the vignette and have their moment to shine? People want to see themselves reflected in art. When people go to museums, they tend to take a lot of pictures of themselves with the work. And some artists and some galleries get annoyed, but I wanted to actually create a platform, a moment for that to happen. At the end of the day, one of the things that's really important for me is figuring out how to use my experience to inspire the community that I grew up in. And the way that I want to do that is by showing them what they're capable of. I like to use the term ghetto because for me it means resourceful. People that do a lot with very little. There's great ingenuity. One of the ideas behind my work is making art accessible. And so one of the elements of this exhibition is that we're holding some workshops that are available to the community. Not only will people be able to come and see work, but then they'll be able to create things on their own. And it's such a gift to be able to be inspired. When teenagers see somebody who looks just like them that came from the same place, who's making a living off of something like pottery, what's really implicated is bigger than pottery. If somebody from where he's from could do this, maybe we need to create more opportunities for people like that.